Feast of Weeks. Finally, the scripture which Yahweh told Abraham to separate himself from his family, and he would give him a land, all that he seeth. Genesis what? 13, verses 14 and 15.
And the Lord Yahweh said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever.
Who is the seed of Abraham?
We are.
Land. Notice, in an earlier scripture, Abraham left home. 12 and 1. Genesis 12:1. Read.
Now the Lord Yahweh had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee.
See, there's something important here. What is it?
Land.
Land. The first thing that Yahweh required him to do was separate himself. Separate yourself. You separate yourself. Separate yourself from your country, from your kinfolk, and from your father's house. And from your father's house. Get to a land. The same thing that Yahweh promised us through Abraham, and the same thing that was required of Abraham is required of us. The same thing. Not almost the same thing, but the same thing. We must separate ourselves from our kin people who don't like Yahweh. I didn't say you have to dislike them. I said we must separate ourselves from them. That means since they don't like Yahweh, they practice different habits from us. They have different beliefs from us. They eat different from us. They cook unclean things in their pots. And in order for us to keep Yahweh's laws and not have to fight with them and try to make them change, notice Yahweh did not require Abraham's family to change. Neither should we as Hebrew Israelites try to make our people change. Don't go home after you become a Hebrew Israelite and try to change your mama. Your mama will try to change you, but don't you try to change your mama. Yes, how many of us had mama try to change us back to the way she was used to us being? Praise God. Your kinfolk will try to change you back. But Yahweh didn't force them to change. He chose Abraham as he chose us. Proves we the seed of Abraham. Yahweh chose us. And Yahweh is not forcing our kin people and our friends and relatives to change. He chose us to change. So don't try to put your kinfolk out of their house. You get out. How many understand the mystery tonight? Don't go and try to throw out all your relatives' pork. You just throw out your own pork. You get out. So Abraham had to get out of 3 places. He had to get out of his kindred's house, get away from them. He just said, get away from them, period. Get away from your kinfolk altogether. Because they don't believe as you believe, and you'll never change them. You offer them the word, and many of us have offered them the word, and they've read it 10 times, 20 times, and they refuse to change. And you keep trying and trying and trying, and your heart grieves as you try to change them, but they remain the same. They read lesson 1 and 2 like you read lesson 1 and 2. Sometimes they read lesson 1 and 2 first. But they threw it in the trash can, or they threw it down, or they put it in the drawer, or they laid it around. And when you try to talk to them about it, they don't care to talk about it. They rather talk about a whole lot of nothing. Have you ever noticed our dead relatives? They don't have an intelligent conversation. It is strictly a dead conversation. They like to talk about who died. They like to talk about who's sick. They like to talk about how sick they are. They like to talk about they believe they're going to die soon. What hurts and what aches and what's wrong with everybody. And they start gossiping about everybody. Do you know so-and-so? How many know what I'm talking about? That's the way the kinfolk are. That's the way the kindred are. So Yahweh told Abraham, don't try to make your kinfolk be like you. I'm choosing you out from among your kinfolk. Of course, somebody followed Abraham away. It was Lot and all his family and all their servants. But Yahweh called Abraham. Your kindred is practicing many gods, other gods, false gods. That's what was going on in Abraham's day. And I guarantee you that your kinfolk are following strange gods. You can tell them Yahweh is God. And they'll say, yeah. Some will go so far as to say, you're right. That's his name. But I'm not giving up my church. I've had them say, you're right. We are all Hebrew Israelites. I saw it in the dictionary. Yeah, I saw it. Yahweh is his name, all right. I agree. I agree with you. But I'm too old to change now. I've been traveling this road too long. Set in my ways. I know it's but I just can't change now. Anybody heard that? So that's the way Abraham's kin people were. So Yahweh could have changed them, but he didn't change them. He said, come on out from your kinfolk, Abraham. Because they are heathen. They believe in practicing what the heathens practice. They believe in birth control, infanticide. See, they were practicing that then, killing babies. In his day, they had gods made out of wood and stone in his day. And then he said, Abraham, get out your father's house. Your mama, you have to give up your mama and your daddy to follow Yahweh. Some of us find it hard, but you have to give them up. That's where the scripture tells us, he who does not forsake his mother and father, sister, brother, husband, wife, and children for me is not worthy of me. See, that came from this verse. That's why I can teach that scripture in the New Testament, because it's verified in Genesis 12:1. He said, Abraham, if you're not willing to leave your mother and father, I can't use you. I can't bless you. I will not bless you unless you leave them. You have to choose me to make your choice, Abraham. Your kindred, your father's house, or me. Then he said, Abraham, I know it's comfortable in the country you live in. I know it's comfortable to you. You grew up there. You thought this was home. But I have a new home prepared for you. I'm going to give you a land for you and your seed forever. Abraham said, where is it, Yahweh? He said, don't worry about it. Your first test is leave. Test number one is trust me with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. The fear of me is the beginning of your knowledge. Yahweh said, don't worry about where you're going. My name, just my name is a strong tower. You be righteous and you can run into it and you will be safe. Abraham said, yes, Yahweh. All right, Yahweh. And I read that he obeyed. He did what Yahweh told him to do. We Hebrew Israelites today in America, we have found America comfortable because we didn't know any other country. After 428 years, we have not known any other country. We thought this was it. But at least we're better off than Abraham. Because we now know where home is. We know the land that we're going to, but Abraham didn't know where he was going. So it took a little more faith on Abraham's part than it takes on ours. We would really be in a stiff strut if I was telling you, let's go to a land, and I couldn't tell you where it was. You talk about taking some faith. Yahweh said, no, I'm not going to test my children after 428 years with that proposition. By the time they spend 400 years, I will have already given them a land, see. Then he went on over and said, know of a surety, Abraham, that your seed, though I'm going to give you a land, still your seed, the one that this is promised to, is going to be a stranger in a strange land that is not theirs, and they're going to be treated evil 400 long years. But after they have served these people, white people, I'm going to judge the land. And I'm going to separate you from them, your seed from the enemy. And then after that, I'm going to bring them out with great substance. But the primary thing in order to have a Feast of Weeks is you got to have some land. Land. See, Yahweh laid it down to us here. Land, 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 land. When you own your own land, then nobody can come and tax you off of it. See, in America, in another man's land, you can buy the land, he says, but he turns around and charges you taxes. And you say, I bought the land, I don't want to have to pay taxes. Then he'll bring his army and take it from you in the name of delinquent taxes. So you never own land in your enemy's country. But in our own land, we won't have that problem.